This right here might be one of the most boring fat loss updates ever to be filmed. And that's because I've been on my period this week, so basically fuck all has happened. I've basically spent most of the week feeling angry, anxious, over emotional, bloated, and just wanting to eat everything in sight, which has been fun. And coming off the back of a weekend down in Kent where, let's say I wasn't my most fat loss aligned, I did a reasonable effort, but steps were down. I ate out a couple of times. I was very mindful. I did stop drinking. I only had alcoholic drinks on one day, which to be fair is pretty fucking decent for me. But all in all, it's a real case of I can't really be mad that nothing massive has happened. I've done photo updates anyway. They're not really showing anything fantastic. If anything, I think I probably look slightly worse, but I'm putting that down to holding on to a little bit of water. The scales went up by 1.5 kilos from start to finish. The lowest weight of the week before was 76.3 kilos. This week I've seen 77.8. Again, unsurprising. And I bloat like a fucking pufferfish. Like, it is a big problem for me. They are back down to 77.3 this morning. So I'm hopeful. I'm noticing more and more that in the gym, I'm feeling like I look a bit leaner. The violent gym mirrors aren't quite so upsetting. There's been absolutely no change to performance. Strength is still going really well. Last week I did only get 2 lifting sessions in and 2 cardio. So again, in terms of like output, I was down for the week. But this week we have been back on it. Steps being hit every single day. I think I was ever so slightly short yesterday, but I did do a 30-minute spin. So from an energy expenditure perspective, we're still pretty even. Back to normal meals, back to thinking like I'm in fat loss. And we've got 4 weeks to go. I think what's really common for me at this part of fat loss is I start to feel better, which means I'm more tempted to slack off. And I know that this is something I've spoken to a few of my clients about, like that feeling of, oh, I'm starting to feel better. How much do I care right now? And this for me is the bit where I need to stay focused. And as much as this isn't some huge deficit, this was always supposed to just be like a little bit of a tidy up. I did set myself a goal of 4 kilos down inside 6 weeks. But this is where, like, I guess my attention fades. I'm not doing it for any reason. And again, this is where some people will be like, oh my God, like a photo shoot. I love photo shoots for people for so many different reasons, but I just can't really be asked doing one right now. So for me, like, that's not a motivator. So I'm not really having anything concrete in. I've actually got no holiday planned yet. I've got no sight of being in a bikini other than in my garden. It's just one of those where, because this was a pure vanity project, I do have to kind of be careful to not slack off. And again, like many of you probably know, the minute the scales start going up, there is that little bit of a temptation to be like, the scales are up anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I eat. But actually, if it's only gone up because you're retaining water, then it's like, okay, well, it still really matters because you still need to act and think and move in a deficit in order to get the scales to drop again. So that's where we're at. It's not a big deal. This is not the most exciting update in the world. It's very much business as usual and all a little bit boring. One thing that I am really loving though is that I've put more effort into my cardio. I only do spin. I'm not really running at the moment. I'm just really enjoying it. Like, I had a moment on spin bike the other day where I was like, I do this for fun. Obviously the cardio is in as part of my fat loss protocol, but I'm actually enjoying that bit, and that's probably one of the best bits. I don't know, does that make me mentally unwell? I mean, yeah, I am, but probably not for that reason. So yeah, the cardio side of things, I am absolutely loving. I'm doing a lot of like interval training in my cardio, basically because I've got bougie Peloton. I do hit and hills or Tabata sessions. I don't really do anything else unless I truly cannot be asked. So this week as well, I've just started a new training program. The DOMs have been savage. I really tried to pull back. Like, I coach myself the way I coach my clients. It's like week 1 of a new program, pull it back, 2 to 3 reps in reserve, then we start applying the progressive overload. I don't know what went wrong. I have barely been able to walk for 3 days. So I trained on Tuesday. I'm still sore now. And it was back to legs again this morning. So this morning session, I had to adapt. We were short on time anyway. So I pulled back to just do 2 sets of all of the big exercises because I was like, my backside is fried. I think I think it was the higher rep slow tempo dumbbell Romanian deadlifts I've done it. So I've been doing a heavy block of RDLs. So I've been lifting like 110 kilos. It's been heavy, like 6, 7, 8 reps. This week, one of my sessions includes 8 to 12 reps, 3 second eccentric. Bear in mind, I was using 50 kilos less than usual. The soreness. But again, I kind of liked it. Like, I don't like the whole squatting down to stand back up again, thinking that you are actually going to get stuck on the toilet. But it is nice every now and then to be a bit sore. And if you've been training for like over a decade, like I have, like the soreness doesn't come that often. So it's actually kind of nice to have that again. Pull-ups are back in the program. I remember when I could do a bodyweight pull-up. I'm back on the assisted machine, not really loving that. That feels like a bit of a failure, but I haven't really trained them. And yeah, we're about to go into a bank holiday weekend, which I know for a lot of people means fun, barbecues, glass of wine in the sunshine. I am going to try and swerve alcohol as much as possible. So I'm working a long day Friday on purpose, and I'm still working I'm still working Monday because I don't really take bank holidays off. Oh my God, look at me, so dedicated. But really it's just because it will cause me too much of a headache for later on in the week. We're not going out. I've got no plans, no meals out, nothing, maybe a coffee, might try and share a pastry in there. I will get my cardio done. We're 2 for the week already. I'm actually going to try and do 4 this week. I'm going to try and do a shorter session tonight, longer one tomorrow, go for some walks, maybe do some form of barbecue-esque meat and salad combination, which can be easily fit into the deficit. And that's going to be me, which is, I don't know, relatively boring, I guess. So I'd like to see a scale drop before the end of the weekend. Who knows? But ultimately, right now, this right here, for me, this is my commitment. You are getting it here first. I am going to stick to my guns. I'm going to keep drinking my water. I'm going to keep doing my steps. I'm going to push through this part where I'm like, I'm not really seeing anything crazy happen, because I do feel better from just a few weeks ago. The pictures from like 6 months ago to now, there's definitely an improvement. So I'm just gonna go, you said you were doing this for 6 weeks, just pull your finger out of your backside. And I also think this is really important to talk about, because obviously I'm a coach. I've been coaching for over 10 years. It doesn't get any easier. It does in terms of, I know what I'm doing. I can be relatively like locked in. My steps are always pretty good. It's easy for me to add cardio back in. My consistency in like 365 days a year doesn't really wane. It's just tightening it up for me. But that also means I do get less focused. And again, I think it's very easy when you watch people's like results, stories before and afters to be like, oh, they've got their shit together and I'm actually really struggling. But genuinely, this is not something that I find particularly easy anymore. I've never really found it easy, but probably even less so now. And there's also the part where I'm like, I'm nearly 35. How much do I want to sacrifice in social scenarios? Which is why last weekend I didn't really stress about it, because I saw my best friends who I hadn't seen since Christmas. Like, that for me was important. I saw my mum, my dad, again, I haven't seen them since Christmas. So it's like, that's the big thing for me. And now I'm going back up north, no plans, nothing really planned in until my actual birthday. So May for me could be pretty tight. So as I say, short and sweet, week 3 update, but this is the current sitch. As always, like, share, subscribe, watch the videos, follow me on Instagram. That is always greatly appreciated, but I'll be back next week with update number 4.